Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. This 22-second time lapse to start here is showing approximately 2.5 hours of actual burning time late in the day of what was once a very large brush pile, and we're getting it down to almost nothing and cleaned up. Stick around and see how we got here. Rob here from Flanagan Homestead. Today is chore day. It's a Saturday. I still need to do siding on the board and bat siding on the bathroom you see in the background there. But I have a big brush pile. The main goal today is to try to get this down. I've got this slash pile from the tree that we cut down and got a lot of lumber to do that board and bat siding, and now I need to burn that away before it gets hot this summer. So anyway, I have burned brush for years and years and years up here, and sometimes piles larger than this, but usually what happens is you build the fire, it gets hot, it dries out everything, burns it down in the middle, and then you need to turn everything back in. And in the past, it's always been yank stuff out, throw it back on top, yank stuff out, and you're doing that all day long, and you're pulling sparks towards your face. Your back is just really tired after a day like this. But I have an excavator now, and so this will be hopefully I can get this going nice and hot. This will be the first time ever that I'm going to be able to turn the pile with an excavator, hoping to save my back. And then all this brush and branches around here, hope to scoop that up and throw it on top, get this area cleaned up. In the meanwhile, as I'm letting the fire just burn and burn down, I'm not going to just sit here and watch it. I got more board and bat siding to do on there. I'm meeting someone to sell some goats. I got some other cleanup around here to do, so hopefully I can keep the fire going and get some chores done. Besides the slash pile there, here's a bunch of waste from our milling. Branches down, logs down, stumps pulled out. There's just a mess around here that needs to be cleaned up and thrown on the pile. Got a good flame going with the firewood that I put in there. Now it's time to start moving some wet wood on top. Hopefully it dries it out fast enough to burn it before this flame goes down. The next 30 minutes is going to be big on whether this goes all day or is done soon. got my blower set idling. Oh, I got my blower set idling just to get a little extra air into there. Unfortunately, it's hard sometimes when these fires are built on the hillside to try to stack stuff on because the fire itself wants to roll down the hill. You might ask why I was so aggressive and throwing so much stuff on there. While the fire's going, if you get everything close on top, even if it doesn't burn it, it just dries it out. And it looks like you might smother it out, which I may here. But if I get enough heat, this will dry. And then quite often, after a bunch of drying in that heat, it catches and a whole bunch. I grabbed some of the branches here that you see that are the wood that was cut when we were milling, smaller stuff, and tried to get it in there because it's smaller stuff that will work its way down in, hopefully get dried up and keep the fire going. All right, there's still some heat in there, tell by the smoke, but I'm losing right now. I'm going to open up a hole with a chainsaw, turn my blower on, full blast, try to get some air in there, spark this thing up. All right, I'll leave it alone for a while, see what happens. I knew these branches were still wet, but they're a little wetter than I expected. There is some good heat down below, not burning too much, but I'm gonna let it go for a little bit now, hopefully start drying out the wood that's around, and then blow it again in maybe half an hour, 20 minutes. Shoot this sucker up. Okay, instead of just standing there watching the fire burn, I'm gonna go get a few boards on and the board and batt siding that I'm working on in the bathroom area. Flames are jumping now. Finally, this is what we've been looking for. It's going hot. All of that in the middle is going to get all burned out. Everything around the edges are going to get dried out. Push that back in, and this will go. Okay, this is about another half an hour later. Everything's burning down pretty good. This is going to be our first turning with the excavator. This is when it normally gets really hard when you're doing it by hand and you're trying to pull branches out and throw them back on top. You can't get close to the fire because of the heat, and you certainly can't get it on top. You just wear yourself out. So this is where the excavator is worth its weight in gold. There's a lot of hot coals down there, so just get everything stacked up on top of it. It'll burn. Going to have to move the camera because the tripod is sitting on a bunch of branches that I need to put on the fire. Okay, there's a lot of hot coals down there and flames, and all that wet wood that I threw on there is just going to start drying out and burning up. Put a big stack on there. It's going to have quite a while to burn. I'm going to go grab some lunch, meet the guys, sell some goats, do some more chores. It'll probably take a couple hours to burn the middle out of this one now. It's a sad day. I had dropped my hat down there, and then I saw it there when I was excavating. But I was staying around the side of it, but when then that log slid off the top of the pile, I went and chased it with the excavator hook and had to reach out a couple times, and I think it may be time for a new Flanagan Homestead hat. Hate to say it. You've served admirably. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm 25 feet away. I could definitely feel the heat back here. Drying this sucker out. And there goes the goats. Buyer found 3 goats that he wanted. That's what he came looking for. Okay, I went back to the house just before noon to sell goats and have lunch. I'm now back here at the fire about 4 o'clock. You can't see it very well in the video, but there's about a 10-foot diameter circle that is just ash and coals, and what you see piled up is the outside edges of that. So we're going to turn this in again. Most of this is going to be pretty dry, and there's a ton of heat in the middle. It is no longer difficult to get stuff to burn. My neighbors had the same idea today, except they did more than just clearing brush. They logged this area. There's a big pile there, huge pile here, getting cleaned up. After stacking all the brush back up again, it's again back to the waiting game to let it burn back down. So I'm going to cut some firewood and split it. Also doing a little bit of siding on the bathroom area again. Here is 2.5 hours and 22 seconds of that fresh stack burning down. As the excavator comes in, it's about 1 hour and 40 minutes after I first stacked it, and here comes another hour of burning down. I had to change clothes because I'm all wet. I'd like to let this burn down a little bit farther before I turned in last time, but it's too sloppy to work around my building anymore, and I'm just getting soaked. So I'm gonna turn this in right now and let it burn down and probably burn itself out tonight. So hopefully it's mostly gone. You can see from the huge stack of stuff that I had earlier, there's quite a bit less. So here we are the next morning, see what we have left. Sorry if I'm huffing and puffing, I went for a jog. I'm in the middle of my jog. But anyway, here, let me turn the camera around and get a closer look. So all the brush that we had down here, this is what it's condensed down to. There's still a little bit of smoke. There's definitely heat coming out of here, but not a ton. I could stir this back up and get it going, but there's not that much left. You could see, besides ash, there's also a fair amount of soil in the middle there. When I was scooping with my excavator, I obviously dropped, a little chunk here, a little chunk there, and by the time I was done, there was quite a bit of clay packed in there. But the area is much cleaner than it was at the start. So thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects like getting lumber off my property, clearing the land, and replanting is my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone. Hit the like button, please. Now I gotta go finish my jog.